Hello, and welcome to Zenith of the Soul. Today, we will explore a special Osho Tarot reading for the sign of Virgo for March 2025. More than simply predicting your destiny, my goal here is to discover how you can actively take action to shape and, who knows, change your fate. So, get ready for an introspective and powerful journey. Once you finish watching this video, remember to also check out the readings for your ascendant, as well as your moon sign. This is very important for you to gain a broader understanding of your energy field throughout this month. Remember to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to support our work. Now, let's go to the spread I just did here at my desk. I will now open the first card, which concerns your current moment. Ten of Fire, Suppression. As March 2025 unfolds for Virgo, we find ourselves at a critical juncture marked by intense planetary movements. With Mercury, Virgo's ruling planet, moving through sensitive areas of their chart, and Venus retrograde from March 1st to April 12th, the cosmic energies create a potent backdrop for our reading. The Ten of Fire, appearing in the central position, reveals a story of contained power and untapped potential waiting to burst forth. Let us begin by examining this powerful card in detail. The Ten of Fire shows us a figure literally bound and constricted, yet with an inner light that refuses to be extinguished. This imagery speaks volumes about the current state of affairs for Virgo natives during this transformative period. The figure's self-imposed restraints mirror the ways in which many Virgos have been containing their true nature, perhaps in an attempt to meet external expectations or maintain a sense of control. Looking deeper into the symbolism, we see volcanic cracks forming around the bound figure, a powerful metaphor for the building pressure beneath the surface. This pressure isn't just emotional, it manifests in tangible ways across different life areas. In terms of finances, many Virgos may feel constrained by self-imposed limitations or conventional thinking about money. The pressure to maintain a certain image or standard of living may be creating unnecessary restrictions on their financial potential. The relationship sphere shows similar patterns of restriction. With Venus retrograde during this period, there's a strong emphasis on reviewing and reassessing relationship patterns. The bound figure suggests that many Virgos may be holding back their true feelings or desires in relationships, whether personal or professional. This self-censorship, while perhaps intended as a form of self-protection, is creating a pressure cooker effect in their emotional life. Health-wise, the card's imagery of contained energy speaks to potential physical manifestations of stress. The body often bears the burden of our emotional and mental suppression. The volcanic cracks surrounding the figure serve as a warning sign. The body will eventually demand release if tension continues to build. The presence of Saturn moving into Aries during this period adds another layer of significance to this central card. Saturn's influence typically brings lessons about structure and limitation, but in Aries, it's asking us to examine how we use our personal power. For Virgos, this transit highlights the tension between their natural tendency toward careful analysis and the need for more direct, assertive action. What's particularly striking about this card's position is how it reveals the paradox many Virgos are experiencing. While they may feel restricted or bound, there's actually tremendous power building within them. The inner light that still shines through the bindings suggests that their essential nature remains strong and untainted, despite external pressures. The card also speaks to a deeper pattern that many Virgos are grappling with: the tendency to overregulate themselves in an attempt to maintain order and control. With Uranus making significant aspects during this period, there's a growing tension between this desire for control and the universal push toward liberation and authenticity. Looking at the specific timing of March 2025, we see that the new moon in Aries and solar eclipse on March 29th will directly impact this energy. This powerful lunation, combined with Neptune's ingress into Aries on March 30th, suggests that the pressure for release and transformation will reach a critical point. The volcanic imagery becomes particularly relevant when we consider that Mars, the planet of action and assertion, will be making significant aspects during this period. This suggests that the energy building within cannot and should not be contained indefinitely. The question becomes not if, but how this energy will be released. As we prepare to examine the challenges and obstacles revealed by our next card, we must consider what would happen if Virgos chose to consciously release these self-imposed restrictions? What potential lies waiting to be expressed? The answer may be both thrilling and terrifying, but as we'll see, it holds the key to a profound transformation. Now, let's open the second card, which concerns the challenges and obstacles that arise in your path. Six of Water, the Dream. As we move to the left position in our reading, the Dream, Six of Water, emerges to illuminate the challenges and obstacles facing Virgo during March 2025. This card's appearance is particularly significant as it coincides with Venus's retrograde period, adding an extra layer of complexity to matters of the heart and personal values. The imagery of this card is deeply evocative, a feminine figure bent in contemplation, gazing longingly at a dreamlike vision of an idealized romantic couple. This visualization speaks volumes about the internal struggle many Virgos are experiencing during this period. The dreamy, water element energy of this card creates an interesting tension with the suppressed fire energy we observed in our central position. What makes this card's placement as a challenge particularly fascinating is its timing with Neptune's ingress into Aries on March 30th, 2025. Neptune, the planet of dreams and illusions, making this significant shift suggests that Virgos are being called to examine their deepest fantasies and unconscious projections. The dreamlike quality of the card reflects how these projections might be creating invisible barriers to authentic expression and fulfillment. Looking deeper into the symbolism, we see how this card reveals multiple layers of challenge. The first and most obvious is the tendency to idealize relationships or situations, creating unrealistic expectations that lead to disappointment. With Venus retrograde during this period, there's a strong pull to revisit past relationships or old patterns of relating, but potentially through rose-colored glasses. The financial implications of this card's position are equally significant. The dreamy energy might be manifesting as unrealistic financial expectations or a disconnect between aspirations and practical reality. This is particularly relevant as Jupiter transitions through Cancer during this period, potentially inflating hopes and desires related to material security. In terms of health, the card suggests that many Virgos might be experiencing a disconnect between their idealized vision of well-being and their current physical reality. The contemplative posture of the figure hints at a tendency to remain in mental or emotional spaces rather than taking concrete action toward health goals. What's particularly challenging about this card's position is how it interfaces with the suppressed energy we saw in the Ten of Fire. While that card showed active suppression, this card reveals the unconscious patterns that contribute to that suppression. The dreamy, romantic energy might seem like an escape from restriction, but it could actually be reinforcing it by keeping Virgos stuck in fantasy rather than taking real action. This dynamic becomes even more significant when we consider the astrological aspects at play. The quadrature between Jupiter and Saturn occurring during this period suggests a tension between expansion and limitation, between dreams and reality. This aspect challenges Virgos to find a balanced approach between their ideals and practical implementation. The card also reveals a deeper pattern of emotional avoidance. Rather than facing the volcanic pressure we saw in the Ten of Fire, there might be a tendency to retreat into fantasy or idealized versions of how things should be. This is particularly relevant with the Moon's nodes activating sensitive points in Virgo's chart during this period. The presence of Pluto in Aquarius during this time adds another layer of complexity. This transformative energy is pushing for deep psychological change, but the dreamy energy of the Six of Water might make it tempting to stay in familiar, comfortable patterns rather than facing the necessary transformations. An interesting aspect of this challenge is how it relates to Virgo's natural tendencies toward perfectionism. The idealized image in the card might represent not just romantic fantasies, but all the ways in which Virgos might be holding themselves to impossible standards. This connects directly back to the suppression we saw in the central card, creating a complex cycle of idealization and self-restriction. Looking at the specific timing in March 2025, the Venus retrograde period, March 1st to April 12th, perfectly aligns with this energy. This retrograde period in Aries suggests that the way forward involves reviewing and revising how we pursue our desires and values. The challenge lies in distinguishing between authentic desires and idealized projections. As we prepare to examine our final card, which will reveal potential outcomes, we must consider: how can Virgos maintain their capacity for vision and idealism while staying grounded in reality? What would happen if they directed their imaginative energy toward practical manifestation rather than escape? The answer lies ahead in our final card. Now let's open the third card, which will tell us about the potential outcomes in your path, that is, the results in your fate. Queen of Clouds, Morality. As we turn to our final position, the Queen of Clouds, Morality, emerges as a powerful indicator of potential outcomes for Virgo during March 2025. This card's appearance is particularly significant as it coincides with Saturn's preparation to enter Aries and Neptune's momentous ingress into the same sign at month's end, creating a powerful confluence of energies that demand our attention. The imagery of this card is stark and revealing: a severe feminine figure, described as a dried-up prune, bound by rigid moral constraints and wearing a black and white jewel that symbolizes her binary worldview. This figure perfectly embodies the outcome of unaddressed suppression, 10 of Fire, and unexamined fantasies, 6 of Water, presenting both a warning and an opportunity for transformation. What makes this card's placement as an outcome particularly compelling is its timing with the major planetary shifts occurring in March 2025. The conjunction of Saturn and Neptune in Aries during this period suggests a critical moment where rigid structures, Saturn, meet dissolution, Neptune. For Virgos, this represents a potential crisis point where their tendency towards strict self-judgment meets the necessity for compassionate self-acceptance. The card's air element adds another layer of significance, suggesting that the outcome of this period will largely depend on how Virgos choose to use their mental faculties. The severe, judgmental energy of the Queen of Clouds could manifest as increased critical thinking and self-doubt, or it could transform into discerning wisdom that helps navigate between extremes. In the financial sphere, this card suggests that the outcome might initially manifest as increased restriction or self-imposed limitations around money. The black and white thinking symbolized by the jewel could lead to rigid financial decisions or an overly cautious approach to economic opportunities. However, with Venus retrograde during this period, there's an opportunity to reassess and redefine one's relationship with material resources. Regarding relationships, the Queen of Clouds presents a particularly challenging energy. Her severe, moralistic approach could lead to increased judgment of both self and others, potentially creating distance in relationships. This is especially significant given the Venus retrograde period, which asks us to review and revise our approach to relationships and values. The health implications of this card are equally significant. The dried-up quality of the figure suggests a potential outcome where vital energy becomes constricted through overanalysis and self-judgment. However, with Mars making favorable aspects during this period, there's also potential for using this discriminating energy to make positive health choices. What's particularly fascinating about this card's position is how it relates to the ongoing Pluto in Aquarius transit. Pluto's transformative energy in this intellectual air sign suggests that the rigid morality of the Queen of Clouds could be the catalyst for deeper psychological transformation. The very discomfort of this energy might push Virgos toward necessary change. The card also reveals a potential pattern of compensation. In response to the suppressed energy of the 10 of Fire and the dreamy escapism of the 6 of Water, there might be a tendency to swing toward extreme control and judgment. This is particularly relevant as Mercury, Virgo's ruling planet, makes significant aspects during this period. Looking at the specific lunar cycles of March 2025, we see that the new moon and solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th will directly impact this energy. This powerful lunation, occurring just as Neptune enters Aries, suggests a potential breakthrough moment where rigid mental patterns could either intensify or transform. The presence of Jupiter in Cancer during this period adds another layer of complexity. While Jupiter typically brings expansion and opportunity, its square to Saturn suggests a tension between growth and limitation. This aspect challenges Virgos to find balance between their natural tendency toward criticism and their need for emotional nurturing. The card's severe energy also connects strongly with the Saturnian themes prevalent during this period. As Saturn prepares to enter Aries, there's a strong emphasis on how we use authority and judgment in our lives. For Virgos, this represents a crucial moment to examine how they wield their own inner authority. The Queen of Clouds also speaks to a deeper pattern of seeking control through judgment and morality. This connects directly back to the suppression we saw in the central card and the escapist tendencies revealed in the Six of Water. The question becomes, can this discriminating energy be used wisely rather than punitively? As we consider the full implications of this outcome card, we must ask, how can Virgos harness the Queen of Clouds' discerning wisdom while avoiding her tendency toward harsh judgment? What would happen if they could find a middle path between complete suppression and total escape? The answer lies in integration, which we'll explore in our final chapter. As we integrate the powerful narrative revealed by our three cards, a clear story emerges for Virgo during March 2025. The journey from suppression through fantasy to judgment creates a compelling arc that, when properly understood, offers a roadmap for profound transformation. This transformation becomes particularly significant as we consider the massive planetary shifts occurring during this period, with both Saturn and Neptune making their ingress into Aries, marking a crucial turning point in collective consciousness. The flow of energy through our reading reveals a fascinating psychological pattern. Beginning with the Ten of Fire in the center position, we see the core issue of suppressed vital energy manifesting as a pressure cooker of contained power and potential. This suppression isn't merely personal. It reflects a deeper collective pattern that many Virgos are experiencing during this transformative time. The volcanic cracks appearing around the bound figure serve as a warning that nature abhors a vacuum, and what is suppressed must eventually find expression. Moving to the Six of Water in the challenge position, we discover how this suppression leads to compensation through fantasy and idealization. The dreamy figure gazing at the romantic couple reveals how unacknowledged desires and needs often resurface in idealized form. This dynamic becomes particularly potent during the Venus retrograde period from March 1st to April 12th, 2025, when matters of the heart demand deeper examination. The outcome position, occupied by the Queen of Clouds, morality, shows how this pattern potentially culminates in rigid judgment and black and white thinking. This progression makes perfect sense when we can't fully accept our authentic desires, Ten of Fire, and instead retreat into fantasy, Six of Water. We often compensate with excessive control and judgment. The Queen's severe demeanor reflects this attempt to maintain order through strict moral constraints. Looking at how this pattern affects specific life areas, we can see clear manifestations in relationships, finances, and health. In relationships, the suppressed energy of the Ten of Fire creates emotional distance, while the Six of Water compensates with unrealistic expectations. The Queen of Clouds then attempts to control these dynamics through judgment and moral strictures. This cycle is particularly relevant during March 2025's Venus retrograde, which asks us to reassess our relationship patterns. Financially, the pattern manifests as restricted flow and blocked abundance, Ten of Fire, unrealistic financial fantasies or avoidance, Six of Water, and overly rigid or moralistic approaches to money, Queen of Clouds. With Jupiter in Cancer making significant aspects during this period, there's an opportunity to break this cycle by developing a more balanced approach to material resources. Health-wise, the suppression of vital energy shown in the Ten of Fire can lead to physical tension and stress. The Six of Water might manifest as avoiding health issues through wishful thinking, while the Queen of Clouds could represent either harmful self-criticism or, more positively, disciplined self-care. The ingress of Mars into Virgo's health sector during this period provides energy for positive change. The path to transformation becomes clear when we understand how these energies can be consciously redirected. The pressure building in the Ten of Fire doesn't need to lead to explosion. It can be channeled into purposeful action. The imaginative energy of the Six of Water can be used for creative visualization rather than escape. The discriminating wisdom of the Queen of Clouds can be applied without falling into harsh judgment. Practical steps for integration include: in relationships, acknowledge and express authentic feelings rather than suppressing them. Maintain healthy boundaries while staying open to genuine connection. Use discernment without falling into judgment. During Venus retrograde, review relationship patterns with compassionate awareness. In finances, release self-imposed restrictions around money. Create realistic plans that honor both practical needs and deeper values. Apply disciplined thinking without becoming rigid. Use Jupiter's beneficial aspects to expand financial possibilities mindfully. In health, release physical tension through conscious movement. Transform idealistic health goals into practical steps. Develop sustainable health practices that honor both body and spirit. Work with Mars's energy to establish new health routines. The astrological backdrop of March 2025 provides perfect timing for this transformation. The new moon and solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th, followed by Neptune's ingress into Aries on March 30th, creates a powerful window for change. Saturn's preparation to enter Aries adds gravitas to any commitments made during this period. For Virgos, the key to working with these energies lies in understanding that perfection doesn't come through control, but through integration. The volcanic pressure of the Ten of Fire doesn't need to be feared when it's properly channeled. The dreams of the Six of Water can inspire rather than deceive when grounded in reality. The wisdom of the Queen of Clouds can guide rather than restrict when tempered with compassion. As March 2025 unfolds, Virgos are called to transform their relationship with power, fantasy, and judgment. The suppressed energy seeking release isn't a threat, but a gift. The dreams and ideals aren't escapes, but visions of possibility. The capacity for discernment isn't a weapon, but a tool for wisdom. By consciously working with these energies, Virgos can use this period to establish a new relationship with themselves and their world. The very tensions revealed in our reading between control and release, fantasy and reality, judgment and acceptance become the alchemical forces that foster growth and transformation. This integration doesn't happen overnight, but March 2025's powerful planetary alignments provide excellent support for beginning this journey. As Saturn and Neptune make their significant moves into Aries, Virgos have a cosmic opportunity to rewrite their relationship with power, imagination, and wisdom. The path forward isn't about eliminating any of these energies, but about bringing them into conscious, creative balance. Thank you for listening to our tarot spread. Please tell us in the comments which part of today's reading caught your attention the most. Also hit the like button and share this video with someone you know who needs to hear this reading today. And remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss anything. Then, look for the videos related to your ascendant and moon on this channel, and watch them now to integrate all this knowledge and act in a targeted way. And if you want to understand this month's reading in the broader context of the year for your sign, watch the video on your screen now with the spread I did for 2025. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.